YouTube. How are you all doing? Look, BlackRock, indeed BlackRock. The moment they enter, XRP's supply will burst like a soda can under hydraulic pressure because they simply smash the door wide open. The liquidity is heating up, the rails are ready, and these ETFs are poised to suck the market dry. Without a certain, we are not early, ideally situated for the impending shockwave, and we're going to go straight in because, well, you know what this title. It's not a hoax. This is a warning shot. Look around carefully and securitize the precise tokenization engine that BlackRock already trusts, Wormhole. You heard correctly. The plumbing is finished, the rails are polished, and the partners are arranged like dominoes. BlackRock doesn't merely scroll into an ecosystem. Ripple is abandoning RLUSD, a settlement-ready, stable asset designed for actual institutional flow, and they are introducing liquidity into chains where institutions obviously desire flexibility. This news isn't dispersed. Everyone is simply not seeing this, even if it is a well-planned build-out. Keep in mind that BlackRock doesn't operate on a retail size. Retail doesn't interest me. All of those integrations, infrastructure, level, precision, align flawlessly with the areas where XRP's ecosystem is subtly developing behind the scenes. And you know what happens the following week? They timed it perfectly. We turned on the ignition. BlackRock's Build Fund, the biggest tokenization real-world asset platform in the world, is visible right up here. It is now on the BNB chain, which is fueled by Wormhole and Securitize. What? What's coming? That pushes us over the list. Additional spot ETFs. If you're not paying attention, Bitwise, a very specialized asset management, is debuting next week and is doing insane amounts of value for Solana. Canary, extremely tiny, extremely tiny. We discussed them in the day's first video, and the fact that their ETF on XRP outperformed Bitwise on Solana serves as a message to the industry that there is a market for XRP and that everyone wants a piece of it. However, nobody anticipated that this would occur so quickly, isn't it? We will be receiving numerous ETFs, not just one. They all land as soon as the institutional tracks are connected. Don't forget that ETFs don't just appear at random. Your liquidity partners, settlement layers, and custodians must all be pre-wired, so the back-end infrastructure wasn't created overnight. We have now arrived at the moment they have been building towards. Due to the government and the SEC, we may be a month behind schedule, but that is acceptable because we are here at this same moment. What occurs when an asset with a limited supply is opened up by Wall Street? That's right. Let's first discuss those who vowed that the current situation would never occur before moving on to the supply shortage. Now that we've seen them, let's discuss them. You mean the so-called experts who said there would be no institutional demand for XRP? Do you recall the jokes, the tweets, and the articles that made fun of the concept of an XRP ETF? Yes, today, where are they? Aren't they dreadfully silent? Well, gate swinging, isn't it? The best of 25 was an XRP ETF that was launched. It beat the B-Sol by a significant margin in my opinion. But even in a weak market, that was clearly a success. More significantly though, the regulators and gate swinging occurred during a down market, even though Bitwise was outpaced by Canary, which is significantly smaller. Bitwise should have released first in my opinion. Both of them could have been on an even playing field. Because, let me tell you now, XRP would have triple what Solana did if it had launched on Bitwise. Give it some time to sink in. The volume charts have recently been released. They are vicious. The XRP ETF is performing far better than anticipated. It is drawing interest and liquidity from all areas of the market. And now they're scurrying, the same analyst who used to make fun of it, attempting to explain figures for which they were not prepared. The problem is that whenever you post something on social media, someone is always looking at it and has the video. Many individuals are hurrying to remove their previous comments, but guess what? Someone has it backed up and saved if it became viral on Twitter. When reality hits hard, denial becomes a coping strategy. However, this is when things start to get weird, so good luck handling what happens next. 149 million XRP, or roughly 336 million give or take, in a single day, not a week. From centralized exchanges, it disappeared. Lost. Take out the vacuum. It's gone. It won't be put back on. Do you really believe this was done by retail? Do you believe that the average consumer has $336 million to purchase XRP from the exchanges? No, there isn't even $1 million in retail. This is the definition of accumulation. This is the intentional accumulation from your institutions, big boys, and exchange-traded funds. Exchanges are losing supply despite their demand for it. A supply shock is exactly what that recipe calls for. It gets more stranger, people, because we go on to this one, which is the identical one the title warns you about, are just days away from experiencing a complete spike of liquidity. We're discussing JP Morgan and Treasury injections that will begin in 2 to 3 days. Yes, that is the same JP Morgan you are considering. By the middle of December, they demand new liquidity of around $300 billion. At the very moment when your ETFs are launching and supplies running low, $300 billion are leaking into the markets. Man, hurry up. This almost seems too good to be true. In my opinion, and there's always someone who gains when liquidity flows, isn't that right? There is an influx of liquidity. There will be a beneficiary. Who will benefit is the question, which leads us to the one that no one is voicing loudly enough. At this point, it is impossible to overlook the institutional angle. The digital asset researcher from Van Ecke appears to be a schmuck when you view these geniuses on your screen. If the protocol isn't made to gather value and XRP holders aren't receiving yield, then who benefits from volume, flow, and settlement? This person is interested in knowing that. He is also VanEck's head of research. Does he realize that he is targeting David Schwartz since his company, Van Eck, is collaborating with Securitize, Blackrock, and Ripple using RLUSD on the XRP ledger? I'll tell you who benefits. The companies that are constructing the ecosystem's railroads are your market makers and liquidity providers. That's who. How this guy has a job is beyond me. A meme coin economy is not what this is. Some media outlets are already attempting to muddy the waters because this is a financial plumbing system that is being developed, and the individuals who operate it are the ones who are getting ready to cash in. Mother, I'm going to say. It isn't a word. The CoinDesk was awake. They chose violence when they woke up today. We have all been there, let's face it. We're merely feeling that way after waking up. Oh, CoinDesk appears to be in that frame of mind about XRP all the time. This article was published right here. Canary likely to hit pause on ETF's filings with XRP was the heading of the article. However, the story isn't about that. Journalism is not what it is. Damage control is what it is. They are aware that the story is faltering. The ETF volume is visible to them. The institutional rails are visible to them. They observe that the supply is dropping. Therefore, it is not because the asset is weak that media outlets promote phony attention that does not exist. Actually, it's the exact opposite. The reason for this is because they are losing command of the messaging. Since the Nasdaq, Yahoo Finance, and Robinhood are all disclosing the precise data on the ETFs and are unable to conceal those figures, they are unable to control the narrative. They must be open and honest about those figures. And your big names are out there as they spend rubbish. The exact opposite is what they're doing. Because of Eric Trump, who has publicly referred to Bitcoin as a wonderful hedge against monetary system failure, corruption, and inflation. I hope the video was enjoyable to you. I'm hoping you'll give me a thumbs up so YouTube knows. We need the rest of the world to be aware of the quality stuff that RIP is producing. I will leave it at that. I hope you had fun. I'll see you all.